Hello, everyone. This is the Sunday version of the Cohn phone. I was on yesterday. I promised I would come back and finish taking calls. There were some people who didn't get their calls taken yesterday. I'll take them first if they're here. But for the first, 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to give my spiel, tell you what's on my mind, give you some things to think about, and then we can discuss what's on your mind. So first, 49ers who are hungry. I was thinking about this. I was tweeting yesterday about Trent Williams. And sometimes Niner fans like my little banter and my negativity, but sometimes I really don't. And yesterday I was saying why I didn't really like the Trent Williams contract, and Niner fans weren't trying to hear that. It was a nice Sunday in the Bay Area, and they were just like, Grant, go away. We don't like you today. So that's fine. So when people tell me to go away and they don't want to hear it, I just double down every time. So I've just been tweeting nonstop about Trent Williams because it kills me. He's made about $140 million in his life playing football. He's never won a playoff game. People act like he's the key to a great offense or how do you not pay a guy like him? Well, I don't know. I mean, it hasn't ever translated to any type of success for any team he's ever been on, paying him all that money. He really makes a lot of money playing football. He's going to be 33. He misses about 2, 3, 4 games every year. So he's really more expensive than you think. You're not paying him for 16, 17 games. No, you're paying him for 13. I don't know. So I was thinking, okay, so the Niners, he made like $90 million in Washington. Niners get him last year, give him $12 million. Now they just gave him another $30 million signing bonus. They just threw cash at him. They just gave him about $42 million in like 6 months. Like us, please. We like you. I was thinking like, okay, well, he might still be hungry. They just gave him $40 million. And his base salary is like nothing this year. What is the incentive for him to play football this year? I'm not saying he won't play football, but football's not fun. The training camp isn't fun. Practices aren't fun. It's a grind. It's painful. You get hurt. You got to play through the injury. It's not fun. That's why the Patriots usually like having hungry players who have something to prove, a chip on their shoulder. Maybe haven't made a lot of money. Maybe still want to make money. Maybe they want to prove themselves. Cam Newton comes to mind. Who are the 49ers who are still hungry? I would not classify Trent Williams in this class. I don't think he's been hungry since he was 24. The guy is satiated. He's full. Guy's got lots of food on his plate, lots of money in the bank. He's a good player, not hungry though. Who are the hungry players on the 40? I'm trying to starters. Jimmy Garoppolo? No. That guy's got $100 million in the bank, and we're all wondering, do you still like playing football? So not Jimmy. Raheem Mostert? Probably. Jeff Wilson Jr.? Definitely. Ross Dwelly, definitely. George Kittle, I don't know. He got a lot of money last year, missed 8 games, didn't play that great when he was healthy. Jury's out on Kittle. We don't know. Got a lot of money last year, missed 8 games, came back for the end of the season. That showed some hunger. But still, when he played, he didn't really have that. He's not as great after the catch as he used to be. He's not as ferocious as a blocker as he used to. I wonder about Kittle. Mike McGlinchey, no. Trent Williams, no. Laken Tomlinson, no. Alex Mack, no. That guy's set up for retirement. Daniel Brunskill, yes. Yes, absolutely. Deebo Samuel, yes. Brandon Ayuk, yes. Eric Armstead, no. That guy's set for life and doesn't seem like he loves football the way he loves, money. I don't know. He got it. Got the big bag from the 49ers. So no Armstead. Yes, DJ Jones on a 1-year deal. Yes, Samson Ebukam, the guy the Niners just signed. He's got a lot to prove. He's never been a full-time player before. He wants to show that he's worth it. Yes, Kinlaw, I think. He should be. Who else? Nick Bosa, I would imagine. He still hasn't gotten the big payday that he's expecting. Fred Warner, I would expect always from Fred Warner. After he gets paid, now, in the future, always. He's special in that case. Yes, Fred Warner is hungry. Dre Greenlaw, yes, as well. Jimmy Ward, I don't know. He hasn't made as much money in his life as he should have. He's probably not going to get another big contract. He played really well last year. Is he hungry? I don't know. Borderline. Jason Verrett, hell yes. That's a guy with a massive chip on his shoulder, trying to make up for lost time, only playing on a 1-year deal, trying to prove that he's worth big bucks that he didn't get. Yes, Jason Verrett, one of the hungriest players on the team. And then Emmanuel Mosley, we don't know. Undrafted free agent, just got a few $1 million. Was that his goal in life, or was his goal to be special as a football player? We don't know. So who are the hungry players in the Niners starting lineup? I counted the running back, the 2 wide receivers, the backup tight end, the right guard, the nose tackle, one of the defensive, maybe both defensive end, a lot of guys on the defensive line, a couple of linebackers in a corner. So it's good to have some hungry players. You'd like the Niners to have more. And they, when they went to the Super Bowl, they had all these young, hungry players who wanted to get paid and wanted to prove themselves. Kittle, all these guys. And it seems like they've gotten away from that a little bit. They've just really paid a lot of money to their stars. And now it's like, well, who has something left to prove on this team? Something to think about, Niners, because it seems like you want to incentivize your players to play hard in a sport that's brutal and rough. Is it just me? But why do I feel like if we get Flacco, it's the end of Jimmy and we draft a rookie to sit behind Flacco? See, I don't see it that way. Joe Flacco is not a bridge quarterback. He can't start for you. You can't start him any amount of games. He's like lost 10 of his last 12 starts. That's CJ Beathard territory. I think it's possible that CJ Beathard is better right now than Joe Flacco. So bringing in Joe Flacco is just kind of like a CYA maneuver, a cover your tuchus maneuver. It's like people said our backups weren't good, so we're going to bring in this backup. He's won a Super Bowl. He's a veteran. He's blah, 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 blah. He stinks now. First of all, he wasn't good when he was good. When he was winning back in Baltimore, he wasn't good. He had a couple of hot stretches where he won in the playoffs, but he was never good. Then he got a big contract, and he weighed down that franchise for years. One of the premier franchises in the league. He was the problem for years. He's not accurate. He's not young. He can't move. What's the point? Just bring back CJ. Just bring back Nick Mullins. He can't start. You can't win with him. He's a waste of money. He's old. Just get someone young. The Joe Flacco thing doesn't make any sense. I feel like people would justify, well, you need a backup who's experienced you can win with. Okay, well, that's not Flacco. He's experienced, but he's also done. He can't win anymore. He completed 55% of his passes last year. He was terrible. Only reason people think he's decent is because he was better than Sam Darnold, but that doesn't mean he's anything because Sam Darnold's even worse. So I think that was, look, he came to the Niners. They had a meeting. He left. To me, I interpret that as they brought him out here. They tried to, offer him nothing. Vet minimum, $1.1 million. And he was like, oh, I'm not from the West Coast. It's expensive out here. I wouldn't buy property. I'd have to, get a condo by myself for a year and be a backup. God, maybe I'll get a similar offer from a team back east. And so I bet you Flacco's got some terrible offer from the Niners sitting on his desk, and he's just waiting for any team to call. He's just sitting there like SpongeBob with his cup of coffee, like, please, someone, I don't want to go to Santa Clara. And I don't blame him. Why would you want to go to Santa Clara if you're from the East Coast and you had come on. Oakland, I can understand. Santa Clara, really? They got a really nice Chick-fil-A, though. I'm not trying to say, I'm just saying, it's got, unless you grew up going to Great America, why would you would have no emotional attachment. So Joe Flacco, I don't think he's coming, but yeah, he's not, to me, it's very troubling that they're even interested in him because he's just a backup. You can't replace Jimmy Garoppolo with Joe Flacco. No one would like that. You bring in Alex Smith and draft a quarterback, I think Niner fans would be like, you know what? See you, Jimmy. We like Alex Smith. Joe Flacco? No. All right, let's move on. Okay. Will the 49ers re-sign Jaquasky Tart? That guy's hungry. He gets hurt a lot, but he has something to prove. He wants to show that he's really good, that he's been overlooked, that he still can play, and that he's worth money. That guy is hungry. If the Niners could re-sign Jaquasky Tart, I wouldn't be against it because he's a lot like Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett has had injuries. The only difference is Jason Verrett played 14 games in a row last year. Jaquasky Tart hasn't played 14 games in a row in quite some time. Still, I think Jaquasky Tart was hoping he would get the Jason Verrett contract, 1 year, $5 million with some incentives. I think Tart was hoping he would get that. And I think the Niners only had one of those to go around. It went to Verrett because Verrett plays a more important position. That's true. If the Niners can bring back Tart, though, it would really improve their team because his backup, Tavarius Moore, gives up big plays. Tart has sometimes too, but Moore, he's fast, he flashes, but sometimes it looks like he really doesn't know what he's doing. And he just misses assignments that make the rest of the defense look bad. I don't think the Niners can just hand a starting job to Tavarius Moore. If they don't bring back Jaquasky, Tart, they got to draft a safety who can compete for a starting job. That means a top 3 round pick for a safety. Do they want to do that? Maybe there's a guy they like, but it'd be easier to just re-sign Jaquasky, Tart to a 1-year deal and then not sign a safety or not draft a safety. Draft one in round 6 or something like that. So will the Niners re-sign Jaquasky, Tart? It doesn't seem like they want to. It seems like they're expecting him to leave or want him to leave. I bet you they offered him a really insulting deal. Like they gave Jason Verrett the deal he was looking for and offered him, hey, Tart, here's a 1-year veterans minimum. Sorry, we don't expect you to sign it. Don't take it personally. It's just we don't have any money left over. We really think you should go start somewhere else and go get that money somewhere else. We just don't have it for you. But if you want to come back and play for a really insulting amount of money, come on, be our guest. That's what I think is probably I don't know. But I think that Tart, might even want to come back to the 49ers. But the offer is so insulting he can't probably. And that's too bad. It's too bad they can't meet in the middle because he does have value for them. There's no real good replacement left. Keanu Neal got signed. But I think the Niners want to move on the way they wanted to move on from Eric Reed. They just made up their mind. So I'm guessing Tart is out. Almighty Juju says, hey, Grant, do you think Kyle gave Jimmy another season? Do you think Kyle will give Jimmy another season? And if another losing season, it will be more easy to cut him due to 2 consecutive losing seasons? Yeah, I think everyone's looking like, run it back one more time with Jimmy. If it doesn't work out, blame Jimmy. Well, at what point is it Kyle Shanahan's fault for sticking with this guy? 5 years with Jimmy Garoppolo, we've known what he is. How many years does the coach get a pass for sticking with a mediocre, serviceable quarterback who can't stay healthy? Joe Montana says start over. I'm with Joe. At a certain point, it can't just be Jimmy's fault all the time. Someone has to be a grown-up in that organization and make a decision because they've been riding the fence for like half a decade. All right, got a couple more things I want to talk about, and then we'll get to the calls. Will the Niners re-sign Kaijuan Williams? I don't think they're going to re-sign Jaquasky Tart. I think they have a much better chance and opportunity to re-sign Kaijuan because is there a market for Kaijuan? Kaijuan plays a niche position. He's a nickelback. He's not a starting safety. He's not a starting corner. And he really can't cover man-to-man. He's 5'9". He's a little older. He's about 30. He's had some injuries. There's a lot of things not to like about Kaijuan Williams. He's extremely limited. And you may not even get a full 16-game season. Probably won't. But in a certain system, and when he's asked to do certain things, he's really good. And he's been doing those things for the last 4 years for the 49ers. He could go to the Jets, but the Jets don't seem to be that interested. Doesn't seem to be a lot of teams banging down the door for Kaijuan Williams. So he may feel like, you know what, maybe I will take a 1-year veteran minimum deal to go back to the 49ers. He may not. I think there probably will be more interest league-wide for Jaquasky Tart than Kaijuan Williams just because of the positions they play. Tart is a versatile player who can play a little free safety and some strong safety. He can play a little linebacker. He can do all kind of stuff. Kaijuan Williams can do like one thing. He can play nickel. He can tackle. He can blitz. He can't cover man-to-man, but he can cover in the zone pretty decently. He's a good player. Easier to re-sign. I think the Niners could probably give him maybe 1 year, $2 million, $2.5 million, really cheap. And I think he won't accept it now, but in a couple of months when he realizes what he's working with and how he's not getting any offers, he might feel like, you know what? I've been there for 4 years. I don't want to uproot my life. I'll just stay there. So if I had to handicap it, I think that Kaijuan Williams has a good chance to come back. There's no one else taking his spot on the team. There's no backup nickel. They would definitely have to draft one high to replace him. So I think they'd like to have him back, and I think they'll bring him back. Kaijuan. Kaijuan Williams. I'm guessing he comes back to the team. Last one. There are still some free agents out there. There's some corners, AJ Boye. There's some tackles, Alejandro Villanueva, Eric Fisher. A whole lot of edge rushers. Kerry Hyder's one of them, Jadeveon Clowney, a lot of guys. The Niners did just sign Samson Ebukam. I don't know if they still have D Ford on the roster, on the pay chart, on the payroll. I don't know if they can really afford to sign another defensive end. But what about a wide receiver? T.Y. Hilton, free agent. The kind of guy the Niners have been looking for and don't have. The speed guy down the field, kind of like Travis Benjamin, Marquise Goodwin, except way better. This is a guy who had 1,400 yards about 4 or 5 years ago. Hell of a player, 31, fast, good, potentially cheap. These wide receivers have no market right now. The Niners could bring him in. He could start. He could be the number 3 guy. He could complement Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. In a lot of ways, you could see it making sense. Problem is, He's in his 30s. He's missed time recently with injuries. And the Niners have a lot of players like that already. They keep signing older guys who've had injury issues. They keep doing that. And it makes sense to make those calculated risks, to bring in those veterans who have a little time left, maybe just a little bit of ability left, if you have a Hall of Fame quarterback or just a quarterback who can win a Super Bowl. Makes sense. But the Niners don't have a quarterback who can win a Super Bowl. No, they have Jimmy Garoppolo, who was dragged to a Super Bowl by his team once and was given a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl once and blew it away. That's not the verb I wanted to use, but I'm trying to go PG here today. 10-point lead, fourth quarter, lost by what? 10? How did he do that? So, yeah. I don't see the need for bringing in T.Y. Hilton. They don't throw the ball down the field. When I say they, I mean Jimmy Garoppolo. He doesn't throw the ball down the field. The coach doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the ball pretty much anywhere beyond the line of scrimmage. So there's games where they just run the ball and throw shovel passes all day. He would be a waste, T.Y. Hilton. If they had Matt Ryan in his prime, yeah, suit him up. Sign up all the 31-year-old wide receivers you want. But as long as the Niners have Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't understand the point of making 33-year-old Trent Williams the highest paid offensive lineman ever, paying all this money to kicker Robbie Gould, who's about 40, re-signing Kyle Juszczyk until he's 55. Like, I don't get it. Jimmy is not the answer. They need to draft a quarterback and reload and get younger, but they're getting older and telling themselves that they can win with Jimmy. Okay, well, we'll see. If you had a real quarterback, you could sign T.Y. Hilton, but you don't have a real quarterback, so you need to sit this one out. That's too bad. All right, it's time to take some calls, and I love you guys are so passionate. One guy yesterday came on the show from DC. He was fantastic, and he was so passionate. He let an F-bomb rip. It's okay, but I'm going to ask you pleasely and kindly, no cursing. Let's just say that, and it's on me for not reminding people that he didn't do anything wrong. I'm just going to remind you now, please, no cursing. There's a lot of 13-year-olds that watch this show. Let's keep it wholesome. And I'll try to remind you. I don't want the burden to be on you here. This is my show. I got to remind you. Hold on. Someone left a little thing real quick. I'm going to answer it. And it wasn't actually a question. Okay, so there is the link right there. I'm going to put it in the description as well. And then we'll start taking some calls. Boom. Okay, we're good. Let's talk Niners for the next hour. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let's take them as they come in. Jonathan, how are you?
Rand, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Great. Can you hear me good? Hold on, I got to turn off the background, I think.
I can hear you great.
Okay, awesome. All right, so my question is, let's say.
Oh, I didn't do that. I did not do that. That was him. All right, well, I'll get him later. Man, he just got bounced. Ben, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Great, because UCLA won last night, and that's the first time I've watched them in about 10 years. And now I'm an expert. What's up?
Well, I have my 49ers questions, but I wanted to ask you about a few other things first, because I'm a journalist. You're a journalist.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you, so this is my first year working in journalism. I started back in November at my student newspaper. And, I was wondering, do you think it's easier or harder now to work in this field, given everything?
Yeah, it's both, because there are more people doing it than ever. There's a lot of people doing it independently, which makes it hard. But in that sense, it's easier because you can do it independently. If you're good, you don't have to wait for someone to find you or discover you, or give you an opportunity and a platform. You give yourself a platform and you just do your thing. So it's a bigger pond, but it's more democratic. You can help yourself stand out. I don't know how to answer that question. Depends on the person, I guess. For me, I think it's okay.
Yeah, no, and I think, part of that too, and part of what I was thinking about was with how Zoom has kind of changed everything, especially this year, because for me, I haven't experienced what it's like to be in a locker room or any of that stuff, because this is my first year doing it. and getting credentialed and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's on the one hand, it might be a little harder, but at the same time, I feel like I get, just as much respect and just as much pull, I want to say, as anyone else in the local media. So it's nice in that way. It really is. And
the whole Zoom thing has allowed more people access as journalists, which is good.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then my next other question before I get into the 49er stuff is Dr. Harry Edwards still involved with the team?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while. Not sure.
That's something I've been wondering a lot about lately. And I know he was a part of the team starting in the 80s, and I know up and through 2016 he was still pretty decently active with the team. So that was just something I was curious about. But I guess in terms of 49ers, I wanted to talk about kind of something you were talking about with contracts with Trent Williams, but I think it's a more broader problem with the Niners is that for some reason they keep trying to backload these contracts. And to me, it's really frustrating because, I heard one of your callers, I think yesterday, say that make the comparison of the early 90s Cowboys, right? Which I don't think was a bad
pre-free agency,
pre-free agency, right?
Pre-free agency.
But I think they're really starting to become like what the Dallas Cowboys are like now, which is they have all these big contracts. They have all these players that push them down the line. They're just they're like, oh yeah, we'll figure out the money. We'll do this, we'll do that. We'll add these, whatever. And I feel like they're really setting themselves up for failure right now because I think the way their cap situation is set up, it's crazy. Like next year's cap, actually, if you look at 2021 versus 2022, they have more cap liabilities tied in. It's like 183 million. And this year they only have 175, at least in that top 51. So I'm really worried about, that I think we talked about this a few times this offseason, how they're trying to go all in, right? And I think backloading all these contracts is going to make that even worse because I feel like, this is going to be their season, right? Quote unquote, to really go all in because like I said, it only gets more expensive from here. So I just don't understand how they're going to be able to make their team better after next year. I feel like unless they hit on all this on some great draft picks or something, or get the quarterback right, they're going to be in an even worse situation next offseason than they were in this offseason.
Okay, here's how I see it. I mean, what Parag Marath enthusiasts and defenders would say is, look, it's cap friendly now. It's backloaded when the cap will rise because of the TV contract. The Niners will figure it out. It's no problem. And that part is true. What the problem I have an issue with is by backloading these deals for Armstead, Trent Williams, what they used to do was front load deals and make it so the Niners could escape basically after 2 or 3 years with no dead cap liabilities. That's not what these deals are. These deals, I mean, they're cheap now. I mean, they're in the sense that they work in the cap now, but Trent Williams is basically guaranteed to be on this team for at least the next 3 years. Same with Eric Armstead. And the problem is, what if dude gets hurt?
Yeah,
look at D Ford. You can't move on. These dudes are in their 30s.
And it's not even them two. It's a bigger problem. I mean, even Kyle Juszczyk's contract is backloaded. That's crazy to me. I don't understand why they can't figure out how to front load some of these deals and at least balance out what they're trying to do, because I feel like they're screwing themselves over right now by putting all this money down the line and then being like, oh, we'll figure it out and all this stuff. But like you're saying, I mean, Eric Armstead, the D Ford contract originally, Trent Williams this offseason, George Kittle. I mean, they're going to have to sign Fred Warner. What do you think is going to happen?
You're mortgaging the future to win now, but you don't have a quarterback to pull it off. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's why I was on Twitter yesterday being like, what is up with this Trent Williams contract? Why was this something the Niners needed to do? Why did this make sense for the Niners? Why were they the team that needed to make a 33-year-old left tackle the highest paid offensive lineman of all time? They don't have the quarterback to protect. Who are you protecting? No. Jimmy's gonna get hurt one way, or he's gonna find a way to get hurt. Trent Williams can't prevent that. I mean, I'm sorry. He didn't get hurt. He got hurt because of Laken Tomlinson last year. He got hurt running downfield in 28. I'm sorry. If you had Tom Brady, sure, man, make that move. But you don't. So,
and also, I think with the Trent Williams thing, I'm not necessarily. I don't think it's as bad as you say it is. I don't think it's great. But at the same time, that's a deal you could have tried to front load. If you had front loaded that deal, it would be so much better for the Niners, especially if you tried to put all that money in the first 2 years. But instead, they're putting it like year 4, 5, 6, and because of that, they're either gonna have to hang on to him for all that time, or they're gonna have to deal with the dead cap and all the cap casualties that go along with that. And man, I think it's really frustrating that they did this almost. It seems like now 2 off seasons in a row. I mean, I don't understand why last offseason they weren't trying to front load contracts. So, that's my spiel for today. But yeah. Man.
Well, I appreciate your spiel. I always like your spiel, man. Thanks for coming on.
Well, and hey, before I get out, I want to say, so, we talked about college basketball a little bit. I might be trying to make my flight for Indianapolis, depending on what happens on Monday. So we'll see
Good
about
luck,
that.
Man. I'm pulling for you. Go FSU.
Oh, yeah,
all right, man.
So
have a good one.
Good to see you as always.
Yeah, good to see you too. Always. Hey, Sai, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Grant?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So, are you excited for the Run It Back tour?
Oh, I can't wait. It's exactly what I hoped they would do. The Run It Back tour.
Yeah, exactly. I think, in a way, I feel that all of us should have seen this coming when they signed River Craycraft. And we were just getting excited with all the different possibilities. So when they signed him, we should have known that they were going to go on this Run It Back tour.
Yeah, that was foreshadowing for sure. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So I wanted to talk a little bit of, based on what happened in the free agency, a little bit of the big picture, right? So one thing that really struck out to me in what happened over the free agency was that Kyle, he still so strongly believes that he has the winning formula to get to the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
And it's pretty much, I mean, the way I think about it, see, he came in 4 years ago, he put in his philosophy, the way he wants to build the team. Of course, it was successful. They went to the Super Bowl, right? And last year, it made a lot of sense that they wanted to have the revenge tour and go back to the same team. But in a way, this year, there was a good chance for him to evolve, try out something new, try out something different, either from a scheme perspective or from the quarterback position, etc. I mean, look at Bill Belichick. I mean, he had the same thing. Like the Tom Brady era ended, like, okay, 1 year he wanted to do something similar, but now he's doing something totally different.
Right.
Whereas if you think what Kyle did, that's what really stood out to me is like, he's like so confident that, hey, I don't need to change. Like, I mean, to me, again, the biggest one was the Kyle Juszczyk signing. I think a lot of us felt that maybe he'll go to the 2 tight end set, right?
Like McVay did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, everything was set up. The league was moving towards more of a spread scheme. But signing again Juszczyk for the next 5 years, it kind of shows that, man, like he's not going to change. Like, and ultimately, this is going to come down to he still strongly believes that every year they're ready to win the Super Bowl. And if they don't win, it's because the players are not executing or because
of injuries.
Injuries.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
no, the Niners won the Super Bowl in 2019. It's just it's a technicality that they somehow didn't get the rings, but they were the best team in 2019. Last year, they were also the best team in the league. It was just injuries. And then they're still the best team in the league. And if something else happens, it's just, flukes. That's I firmly believe that he thinks that way.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, that was helpful because it is like, look at the number of players he just brought back, and it's pretty much, hey, like it's the same. I got this. Like I don't need this. I don't need to change. I don't need to evolve.
There was that little cliche that Jim Harbaugh had when he was here. Remember, he had those sayings he liked to say. Yeah. They were kind of corny, but they had some truth to them. And one of the things he always said was, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You never stay the same. I feel like for 2 years, the Niners have been trying to stay the same. And you can't. Correct. They're not the same team they were last year. They lost Kerry Hyder. Tart's probably not coming back. Kaijuan's not coming back. Kendrick Bourne, it's not the same team. You tried, and then last year you lost DeForest Buckner. D Ford is only deteriorating. So as you try to stay the same, the rest of the league is trying to improve, and you fall behind.
Correct, exactly. And I think to me, and if we take this and if you project forward to the draft, right? I know that we were all getting creative in all the different possibilities. at this point, I almost feel that the first round is going to be a pass rusher. It is going to be a defensive end because that's their formula.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
Why would they change it up?
Yeah, there is no reason to change it up. It's like, so I think
they don't change anything else up. Yeah,
exactly. For all the people who think they're going to trade up for a quarterback or they're going to draft Kyle Pitts, or because now pretty much they cannot draft Kyle Pitts because they are already committed to the 21 personnel. They cannot run the 12 personnel. They cannot draft Jalen Waddle, or if anybody falls down to him, because they are not. They already have 2 starting wide receivers. So
they're committed. Yeah,
it's pretty much, it has to be a D end.
You're right. And then hold on. And then they're going to take the quarterback at the end of round 3 because that's what they took Beathard.
Exactly.
That's what they took Beathard, and Beathard's leaving. So they don't need a franchise quarterback. They need someone to replace Beathard. So it'll be end of round 3. That's where the quarterback's going to be. Who knows who it'll be? But someone who probably never heard of that Kyle Shanahan thinks is great. Someone never heard of.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much.
I can't wait.
Yeah, what is going to happen is what.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and pretty much, I think even the pass rusher, I almost feel that they're going to go with Jalen Phillips, the guy who has like tremendous traits, but he has like medical questions.
Yeah. So that's their guy.
That's their guy. So it's. I almost see that coming, and
me too.
Yeah. I don't see a way around it. So I think for all the creativity that we have, it's pretty much going to be pass rusher, maybe a cornerback second round, quarterback third round. I think we can just turn in the.
And the best thing about it is, I'm sure Kyle Shanahan made his mind up months ago. Like mid February. Got this. All right, let's move on. Sai, thank you for bringing some realism to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing, Grant, is I found your monologue on Deshaun Watson very interesting. I feel the same way. I almost feel that. I mean, if you think about it, why did Deshaun Watson suddenly soar on his owners, right? And I feel that there must have been some dirty laundry that both of them knew. And
that's a great point.
Yeah.
Why was it this irreparable thing with the owners? Well,
exactly. I think they would have threatened that they were going to throw the dirty laundry out, and suddenly he would have soared. And I totally agree with you that the owners are connected in this. I don't see any other way around this.
I'm trying to say it without like them suing me because they have billions of dollars. But I mean, come on. How do you?
Yeah.
I was talking about it with my wife. She doesn't follow the situation, and we were just at dinner, and I laid it out, and she was like, "Oh, Texans knew. The Texans were covering this up for him. Allegedly, she figured it out in 2 seconds. I was like, oh yeah, but I don't want to take sides. It's just been very compelling.
Exactly.
Yeah. Allegedly. Sai, wonderful. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. Niner follower, you're next. I just want to answer a couple of questions real quick. What's needed to get 3 from Miami? A whole lot of picks or Nick Bosa? Basically, Nick Bosa. There was one more. I hope I didn't miss it. Hold on. It was a $10 one. Oh, boom, I got it. Raven said, is Jimmy the only hole in the roster, assuming we address strong safety, depth in this draft, and end of free agency? No, because I think Jimmy's still better at his job than Mike McGlinchey is. People keep giving Mike McGlinchey a pass, and I won't do it. Look at my face. Do I look like someone who's going to give Mike McGlinchey a pass? Hell no. So that's what I do for a living. All right. I'm going to get everyone in order, I promise. And I'm going to get everyone today. What's up, Niner follower? Good to see you second day in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
What's popping in North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Okay, what's going on?
So I am so mad with all these contracts we are using. For like Trent Williams, why do we need to pay him so much money for 33-year-olds? It's like annoying me when we have 2 corners on our roster. 2 corners.
That's what I'm trying to say, man. But Niner fans won't listen to us. They're like, he's the best. Doesn't matter. Who is he protecting? They don't have a quarterback.
Exactly.
Yes.
Jimmy G, all he does is this to Debo. That's all he does.
So what's the deal? Oh, nice jersey, by the way. Exactly. The Jimmy G signature pass is the
little flick or the
little flip to Debo
pass.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yes.
So last night I was looking for corners that we could find in the 3rd round and 4th round, since we got a lot of picks around there.
Yep.
Because we need like a offensive lineman in the 1st, and then I kind of want like Kellen Mond in the 2nd. So I found 3 corners that I think can be really big because we need somebody that can guard the wide receivers in the division. Top 5 wide receivers in the division, this not including our team, DeAndre Hopkins, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, and you didn't even mention AJ Green. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a tough
All
division.
of them
Yes.
are really good wide receivers,
Yes.
and we got 2 cornerbacks.
2. And
Two?
one of them is just Mosley.
Yeah.
The other one is good when healthy.
Yeah, good
Good when
He's
healthy.
like Jimmy Garoppolo. He's okay when healthy. Well, I
Yep.
mean, he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, he's better than Jimmy.
But he's always injured.
Yep.
So the first one I saw was Sean Wade from Ohio State, supposed to be about a 3rd round. We need a safety and we need a cornerback.
True.
I took notes. He's all over the place.
Okay.
He wants to play physical.
Okay.
He's 6'1", 195 pounds.
I like that.
But he does need to get better off screens. He wants to play physical, but he can't get off of screens.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And these guys are all works in progress. They're kids.
Yeah.
You're a kid. But they're kids too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
Man.
the second one was, I know you know I'm a Gamecock, Israel McQuamu.
For sure.
6'4".
A DB?
205 pounds.
Oh, wow. Got a little
Yeah.
Brandon Browner over there. I like that. Is he
So,
physical? Does he jam people up?
Huge. He
Huge.
plays when they play against teams, they put him against Kyle Pitts.
Oh, snap. How'd he do?
He did okay. He did give up a touchdown, but
What are you going to do? It's Kyle Pitts.
watch last year's Georgia game. He
Okay.
had 3 interceptions, a one-handed pick, and he got a pick against Kyle Trask this year.
Dude, you kill me, man. You remind me of the little brother from The Blind Side. You see The Blind Side?
Yes.
Dude, you so remind me of that kid. That's hella funny, man.
Cameron.
Yeah. All right, man. You got anything else?
So last year he had 45 solo tackles and 4 interceptions. And
Dang, dude sounds like a baller.
And then I found this kid. I was looking up big kids because our division's huge, especially with DeAndre Hopkins and DK Metcalf. Found this kid named Trent Williams from Syracuse.
What a name.
Dude.
His name is Trill. That is the dopest name I've ever heard. Definitely draft that kid. I don't even tell me anything about him. I like him. He's both true and real at the same time.
He was injured last year and he opted out, but he's fine now and he did a pro day. So he's very under the radar, projected to be like 5th round.
Oh.
Dude.
But he's not under your radar, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Dude caused 3 forced fumbles.
3, not 2, not 1, 3. Hey man, I gotta take the next call though, man. But you're killing it. You are killing it. I appreciate you coming on the show and dropping some flavor, man.
Thank you.
Always. Have a good one, man.
You too.
He could have went for half an hour. That dude is prepared. He had notes. I loved it. Landon, what's popping, man?
Hey, what's good, Grant?
What's good?
So, I want to be talking about Rashawn. Like, would you still draft Slater at 12?
Yes.
Still? After
Yeah.
all the O-line-
I don't trust McGlinchey. I think he's the weakest link on the team.
I
don't trust him.
And so, say you have Slater and Pitts at 12 with Kittle, with everyone. Who you taking, Slater or Pitts?
Slater.
So Slater?
Pitts is great. I wonder about his blocking a little bit. He's a tight end, but he's kind of a receiver.
Yeah.
Kind of a. So I wondered. Slater. I don't know if he'll be there at 12.
And someone who's underrated in free agency, at least for us, especially with Debo, you've talked about him a lot. Cordell Patterson. Like, we should make such a big push to him. Like, great kick returner, everything.
But they won't because they draft 2 wide receivers every year. Kyle Shanahan gets excited.
We're going to draft another Jalen Hurd.
Yeah, they're probably going to draft someone in the 2nd round just because. Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
But they should. Maybe if we speak it into existence, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
Landon, what?
Wait, what were you going to say?
Nothing. Keep going.
I was going to say, so for the cornerbacks, do you think we draft a cornerback and put Mosley in the slot, like Jack Farley, Surtain, Horn?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they draft a corner and then have him come off the bench. But when it's nickel, then you could move Mosley over there if they don't have Kaijuan, and then bring the guy off the play him on the outside. They can
Farley,
do that.
Horn, they're all outside corners, right? None of them
Right.
play in the slot. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. All right. Where you calling from, Landon?
California.
Man, that's where I live, dude. Hey, me and you. I like that. It's a hell of a state. It's a hell of a state.
Yep.
All right, Landon, take care.
I'll see you later.
Dude said California. I'm not trying to kick it with you. I'm not trying to track you down. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, live from Germany. It's been a while. How you been?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk about is the big question is, what do you think are the chances that Josh Rosen will be the starter next year? But hear me out first. I think the Deshaun Watson thing is pretty much done.
Agreed.
Because you can't trade for him. No
explanation needed. Yeah, we're on the same page.
Because
yep.
Even if he is innocent, it takes way too much time to clear out.
Oh, forever.
And a couple of callers talked about first, I don't think the 49ers want to draft a rookie quarterback and give up the next season to develop him.
Right.
And
right. All the moves that they're making indicate win now. All these old players they're signing,
Yeah, and they have a couple of, I think most starters ready, but they need depth pretty much everywhere, except maybe linebacker. But every other position they need
depth.
Need a couple of guys everywhere. And so I think even when they draft a quarterback, it's like you said, maybe late third, fourth, fifth round.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are backups, most likely.
Yep. So you're saying that Rosen won't necessarily be seriously challenged for that backup spot?
Not necessarily.
That's interesting. Yes. That's interesting. Right. Because if it's Joe Flacco, and then if it's a fourth or a fifth round pick, well, then Rosen believes in a good opportunity to do something if he wants to.
And I think Jimmy will most likely, I wish it's not, but most likely he will get hurt, and Rosen needs to jump in at some point if he is the backup. And he has the talent, borderline first round talent from 2018. What I wanted to know, what the Christmas pretty much is, what do you think are the chances that he gets his personality in check and work ethic checked in? So pretty much then he has the talent. If he works on that and proves to Kyle he is committed, then
well, look at it this way. I've never met Josh Rosen. I haven't been in the same locker room with him. They locked us out because of the pandemic. But people say he didn't love football. He went on a practice squad for a year and didn't complain. He could have quit. Everyone said, "Oh, if you take away the starter role from him, the glamour, why is he going to stick around? Does he love it? He could just go back to the country club and play tennis all day." He stuck around. He stayed he never talked. He stayed on the practice squad. He came to the Niners. He stuck around. He didn't demand a play. He didn't say anything. And I don't know what Kyle Shanahan thinks of him, but they were around each other for at least a month, and Shanahan must have thought enough of him to give him another contract. So he's back. And if he can just show that he can work hard and have some passion for the sport, he's good. So we'll see. Now is the time.
Do you think he could maybe by start of training camp be better or be the first quarterback? Is that a possibility with Jimmy? When they see
no, here's the thing. I've seen Jimmy and Nick Mullins in training camp together for years. Nick Mullins is always better than him. Jimmy's not particularly good in practice. He tends to play better in games. So even if Josh Rosen were to outperform Jimmy in practice, they won't make a switch. What'll happen is Jimmy will start. Jimmy probably could get hurt, and then Rosen will get his opportunity. And if you think about it, Rosen's in a great spot. Much better than Trubisky in Buffalo. Rosen on a good team with a lot of weapons and behind a starter who is holding on to his job by a freaking thread. And even if he keeps it by default, there's no guarantee that he keeps it for 16, 17 games next year. Rosen's in a good spot.
And that would be, the more I think about it, that would be maybe if he is okay and an okay starter, because last call I said Trask is my guy in the draft. I don't think they will get him because they will either trade down and not draft him that high. And I think that he is a guy you must draft into the late first round. But he's not that special that I think Josh Rosen couldn't do an adequate job in their system. So
that's the thing. If they don't take a quarterback at 12, then anyone they take, Josh Rosen probably is physically more gifted than.
Yeah. And therefore, I would like that they trade down. Maybe I don't think they can get Slater. Slater would be perfect fit. Put him in right tackle, but I think the best draft pick they could do is trade down and take Najee Harris, because I don't trust the health of all running backs they have. They are great running backs, but not for 16 games. And I think he could be a very durable workhorse. If I don't know if that is what Kyle wants in a running back, but I think it could be valuable to have a guy like him.
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see what they do. Thanks so much for coming on, Benedict. I appreciate seeing you again. Take care.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too.
What up? What up? What's up, Grant?
What's up, Bay Area Baller 18? How you doing, Mr. Price?
I'm doing good. Hey, Grant, have you heard of a rapper, Ya Boy? He had a recent name change to Rich Rocka.
Ya Boy?
Ya Boy.
Yeah. Was he the dude who made that song, F Yo Couch?
No, I think that was Bailey. I don't think that was him.
Bailey.
But,
that's Bailey.
But
Ya Boy. Hey, Ya Boy.
I'm a big Ya Boy fan.
Okay.
I like Ya Boy.
What was his best song? Ya Boy.
I mean, he burst on the scene with 16s with me, and he's got a bunch of Bay Area.
Okay. What's about why? Why?
That's just my guy. He went to my high school. He's a few years older than me, but
what high school?
I El Camino, South City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Grant.
What's going on?
Hey, the moves that we've made, right? Resigning Trent Williams, Alex Mack, Juszczyk. It lets me know we're in the mindset of win now mode.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Robbie Gould.
That's
how many 30-year-olds are they signing? Everyone's 30.
I know. So you know what? The Trey Lance truthers and those guys, I'm sorry. I don't think it's happening. We're not doing it. Even I like Justin Fields, and he's a bit of a project. I don't think it's gonna happen. But I still see two paths.
Do you agree that they're gonna take a quarterback at the end of round 3 like they did with Beathard? Is that their spot?
I hope not. No. I'm about to lay out two paths, because I see two paths that we can still go down, right? Yeah. One is the option of Jimmy G, right? Which is probably the most likely option. But then at 12, you draft best player available. I still personally really like Kyle Pitts. I think he could be a future All-Pro. I think you go best player available kind of regardless of positional need, because we've really plugged a lot of our holes.
Yes.
Right. So one path is Jimmy G, best player available at 12. And the other path, which is actually more attractive to me and what I'm hoping Kyle Shanahan and Lynch are thinking of, and that is upgrading the QB at pick 12 by the name of a player, Mac Jones.
You think he'll fall? Because there have been reports a couple of weeks ago that he's not going to make it past 8 or yada, yada, yada.
You know what? The more I watch him, I wouldn't mind even going up to 7. I'm not going up too far, but going up to 7, throwing him a second-round pick. The more I watch Mac Jones, Grant, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm watching him at 1 a.m. and I'm half asleep. But last night, I was seeing flashes of Peyton Manning, and I love Peyton Manning. It's hard to say that and take it lightly, but that's what I was seeing.
Okay.
And with the money that we would save, right? We draft Mac Jones. That means Jimmy G's gone. Now we have cash for the second wave of free agency. We can get a Clowney. We can bring back Tart, because I am a Tart guy. I love me some Tart. AJ Boye. We can give Fred Warner that extension.
Yes.
So I think we're upgrading the QB by taking Mac Jones at 12, albeit, he does have to learn the system, but I think he's one of the more NFL-ready QBs.
I think Mac Jones is going to the Panthers at 8. If he falls to the Niners at 12, I do think they might take him. I'd be surprised if he falls at 12. People really like him. He's better than Tua. Tua went 6th last year. So Jones could go 5th. I don't know. No, he won't go 5th because the Bengals picked there. But you know what I'm saying? If he does fall to 12, it's very interesting. I think the Niners would take him. But let's say he doesn't, and I'm right that the Niners wait until round 3 to take their quarterback. Who's it going to be? Prediction time.
Kellen Mond.
Hey, if he's there and they take him, that's an A++++ pick. Thanks for coming on.
I agree. Hey,
what?
A few Cohn phone guests, Ben Meyerson, Jesse. We're creating a roundtable show. Follow my Twitter at Bay Area Baller 18 because it's coming up Tuesday. You know, it's kind of Grant Cohn inspired, right? You kind of united all of us. So, hey, you got to check it out.
I love all
Tuesday.
the spin-offs, dude. The spin-offs are great. Love it. I'm watching that. Hopefully one day I can be on that with you guys.
All right, Grant, catch you.
All right, man. Great to see you. The next dude is named Kyle equals problem. I can't wait to hear what dude says. What's popping? How you doing? What's up, man? Are you Kyle, or is Kyle Shanahan the problem?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I just wanted to say, last year, all these games when we lost, was it Nick Mullins' fault, Cal Shanahan's fault, or the offensive line's fault?
How about a combination? How about all the above? How about all the above? You got to put it on the head coach, man. The head coach assembled the team.
Yeah, to me, it's Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
And whenever he listened to Grant Cohn, I saw wins.
I agree. And what did he do this offseason? Didn't hire me. I don't understand why. All I do is give him free suggestions, and he takes them, and he wins, and then he's like, you know what, Grant? Maybe next year. It's not fair.
The next thing I wanted to say was, why does everyone want to draft a receiver late or sign a cheap wide receiver when we have all these receivers? And Kevin White, we haven't even played him yet. There's Richie James Jr. Even if Ayuk and Debo is hurt, like, we have all these receivers. And
I know. It's just that it's like the only position the Niners draft well anymore, and it's an exciting position because they get the ball in their hands, and people just like new players, so that's why they do it. But it's not really a good reason. But that being said, I bet you they draft a wide receiver in round 2 this year because they do it every year.
And I bet you they trade down and draft a defensive lineman.
Yes, I agree. Yes. Yeah, man. And then you'll be right that Kyle Shanahan definitely is a problem, man. Where are you calling from?
Concord.
Concord. That's solid. That's solid, man. You got a big day planned?
No.
Just a light day. Just chill, watch a little NCAA tourney.
No.
Nah, not even doing that. Nah. Hey, well, if I were you, I wouldn't even reveal my plans. Those are secret. Those are private. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Have a good one. He didn't even say goodbye. Hey, that guy's all business. You gotta love that. Amin, what's up? Did you see my tweet about you yesterday?
No.
You ain't on Twitter, are you?
I checked your Twitter, but I couldn't find nothing.
I said the MVP of the Cohn phone currently is a 13-year-old named Amin, and I got like 100 likes on that. So you didn't see that?
I didn't check it.
All right, man. All right,
I kind of checked your Twitter last night, like at 7:30, I think.
All right, well, it was buried. It was buried, man. Hold on real quick. JD says, sup, Grant. Question, do the Niners have to cut Jimmy by April 1 to save $25 million, or can they cut him at any point this offseason? They can cut him at any point this offseason, JD. They can cut him at any point this offseason. Now, maybe on April 1, there's like a bonus they got to give him. You know, maybe they got to give him $10 million. I don't know. That's a good question. But theoretically, they can cut him at any point and save cap space. All right, I mean, what's on your mind? You have the floor.
This might be controversial, but I'm going to say something.
Oh!
Some of the moves that John Lynch makes just doesn't make sense to me. From back to 2017.
Okay.
Solomon Thomas, 3rd overall pick. He had a high ceiling. He could have a high ceiling. But then if I think about it, a person got drafted in the 1st round, 25th pick. Who was he? TJ Watt.
That's a guy who's good.
TJ Watt has better numbers. First season had 7 sacks. Second season 13 sacks. 14.5 sacks, and he had 15 sacks. Now, if you logically think about it, if you have a good brother like JJ Watt in the NFL, and you have another brother who's playing in the NFL, they wanted a defensive end or someone who can rush the passer, why wouldn't you draft TJ Watt instead of Solomon Thomas? Because if you have a good brother in the NFL, he should live up to his brother's standard, not suck, right?
Yeah. How do you evaluate those two players and decide that Solomon Thomas was better. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And then also, like, when you drafted Deebo Samuel over DK Metcalf, you had the third overall pick, second pick in the third round. You could have gotten DK Metcalf, and you could have also drafted Deebo Samuel with the third overall pick in the second round.
Also, they could have had AJ Brown too, who's another stud. AJ Brown and the Titans.
Brown instead of Deebo Samuel, but instead they decided to draft Deebo Samuel just because you can run jet sweeps. And
then gadget plays.
And he gets
they drafted a gadget player over a legit wide receiver. Yup.
Yeah, over like a legit wide receiver. Imagine Ayuk and like DK, or imagine DK and AJ Brown and Ayuk. Like, imagine that.
Imagine that. But no, they didn't do that. So you're starting to question the 49ers' ability to scout and draft. Is that what you're saying?
If I was Jet, the only reason I'm not fired, the only reason if I was Jet, the only reason I wouldn't fire John Lynch by now is because his late round picks are good. And he knows him, like, otherwise it's.
Well, hold on. Amin, why do you put this all on Lynch and not on Kyle?
I put this on Lynch because Lynch has the, like, Kyle Shanahan's, I'm getting confused now, bro.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No, but the thing about John Lynch is that, like, John Lynch, some of his moves, even his free agency signings. Eric Armstead, because he had one good year. One good year Eric Armstead had. You sign Eric Armstead a damn much. And he has 3 sacks this season. And those 2 sacks came against a backup Cowboys quarterback. And 1 sack came in, like, the beginning of the year. While DeForest Buckner has more who has proven himself 3 years in a row. And you still sign Eric Armstead that big of a contract because he had 1 good year. 1 good year.
Dang, man. I can't defend John Lynch. I think John Lynch needs to come on the show and talk to you man to man, because you bring up a lot of really good points, and I can't. What can I say? You're right. I don't know. The only thing is, I don't know if John Lynch is ultimately responsible, but he has the title of general manager, so he has to be.
He's the general manager. Kyle Shanahan is just the head coach. He's the general manager. He calls the players to make the pick.
That's right, John. Listen to Amin. He's not impressed, and you got to do better. This is it. This is your 5th draft. If you blow this one, you're not going to have any more support. Amin's done with you. Oh, keep going. Keep going. Of course.
One more thing I have to say is that if the Niners are trying to win now mode, as the last few callers said, something like that. If the Niners are in win now mode, the Rams are also in win now mode. That's why they got Matthew Stafford.
So are the Cardinals.
If the Niners were truly in rebuild mode, they would have traded or cut Jimmy Garoppolo and got a quarterback just like the Rams. Because the Niners have a perfect team, good defense. They have Trent Williams and Alex Mack. They have an okay offensive line. They have receivers. And
a lot of vets, a lot of highly paid players.
Yeah, if you get an offense, we could go to the Super Bowl next year. We could even win like 12 games. But with Jimmy Garoppolo, is uncertain about him getting injured, and it's uncertain, right? So like, if we're in win now mode, then we should get a quarterback, not keep Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm. Because Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, why are you in win now mode? If you don't have
because they're going to get Joe Flacco, so everything's going to be okay.
Joe Flacco, that's very funny. Joe Flacco's going to take us to the Super Bowl, you know?
No, they're just in denial. They're just going to say, oh, we went with Jimmy. Jimmy was hurt. Jimmy's going to be good next year. They're just in denial. They're waiting a year. It's like the Rams, but the Rams were in denial about Jared Goff. And I think the Niners are just like a year behind. This is going to be the Rams hung on to Goff for 2 years after he lost the Super Bowl. I think the Niners are going to hang on to Garoppolo for 2 years after he lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Goff wasn't injured, was he?
No. No. Yep.
Right.
I mean, I can't argue.
Availability is availability.
Yep. It's true. Hey, man, I don't know how many different ways we got to tell John Lynch to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen, does it? No.
I don't think so.
Because I think from John Lynch's perspective, that's still the number one thing he's done as a general manager is trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. If that isn't on his resume, then what's the number one thing he did? Draft a guy in round 5, draft George Kittle in round 5. That's a fluke. That's a fluke. You can't repeat that. What you did was you got your franchise quarterback theoretically. And that's what he's going to hang his hat on forever.
Jimmy G is not a franchise quarterback. Jimmy G has rings if he sits on the bench behind Tom Brady. Otherwise, he never wins rings. I literally saw like a meme about that. Like Tom Brady, like if you sit on the bench, you'll win rings. If you don't sit on the bench and you play, you're not going to win rings.
I agree, man. I agree. Well, look, I'm going to try to send this up the proper channels and get them to do something about Jimmy. But so far, they're seeming a little stubborn. So I don't know, man. Maybe we should run the team. Me and you.
I don't mind.
Hey, man, strong as always. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. For sure. Later. That dude is so professional. Okay, Shardal, you're up, baby. I see you combing your hair over there. I like that. What's up? Oh, look at you all dressed up. Look at it. Dapper.
My My first question is, how do you feel that how will the 49ers adjust to their new defensive coordinator, Demeko Ryans? Because that's going to be really hard. He's a new guy, getting used to the new guy is going to be like not easy, because getting like Salah, like the 49ers getting removed, like letting Salah go. It's not going to be easy because getting used to a new guy is like going to be really difficult. And what are your thoughts about that? You think that's going to be an easy move?
No, I don't think it's necessarily used to him because he's been on the team as a position coach, the linebacker coach. I think he needs to get used to the job of being a defensive coordinator because he's never done it before. He's younger than Robert Saleh was when Saleh became the defensive coordinator. And Saleh, in my opinion, had definite growing pains the first 2 years doing the job. We should expect the same from Demeko Ryans, which is interesting because this is a team in win now mode. It's not a rebuilding team. So we'll have to see. It's something to monitor. Good call.
So my second question is, when looking at the 2021 49ers schedule, which teams out of there do you think the Niners are capable of winning against?
Man, it's actually a pretty easy schedule. I don't have it in front of me. All the games in their division are tough, but correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have the schedule in front of you?
I think I have it on my phone, but I can pull it up later.
Okay, but off the top of my head, I think they play Jacksonville. I think they play the Jets. I think there's a lot of games on that roster against bad teams. So theoretically, if they stay healthy, they can win games. The question is, where do they finish in their own division? Because it's brutal. Hey, yo, thanks for coming on the show and looking so dressing so well. You're by far the best dressed commenter today. So I will see you soon. All right.
I'll see you soon, Grant.
All right, Shardal. Take care.
Bye.
I love that guy. C-Rod, what's popping, man? You're muted. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey,
what's up, man?
How you doing,
man? You know why they won't hire you?
Pardon?
You know why?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. What's going on?
Hey, so I want to talk real quick, and it goes a lot along the lines of what Bay Area Baller was saying, where the 49ers are in the offseason. It hasn't been a flashy offseason, right? In terms of free agency, nothing flashy. We spent a lot of money on Trent Williams. We spent a lot of money on some old players, which is showing us, hey, they are in win now mode. We're not rebuilding. It's not going to happen. We're not going after younger talent right now, which leads me to, we're bringing Jimmy back. Jimmy's the guy, is what it seems. So with that, there's still a lot of Jimmy truthers out there. I was looking on Twitter the other day. Your dad posted something about, hey, the Niners aren't going to make the playoffs with Jimmy. It's not going to happen. And
people were like, how could you say that? How could you say that? Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
I can see both sides of it, but what I want to get to real quick is just what this offseason, like I said, it hasn't been flashy, but what it has been is it has filled a lot of needs. And so as we move into the draft, there's nothing that the 49ers have to take at 12.
That's true.
There's a lot of flexibility there. So maybe it hasn't been flashy signings, but there's tons of flexibility to move up if you want to get a quarterback, which I don't think that's going to be the play.
Agree. Because you always want to be in a position to take the best player available, especially high up in the draft, because who knows, a Hall of Famer could just drop to you that you didn't expect, especially this year with all these quarterbacks being pushed up the draft board artificially.
I feel like a quarterback will probably slide. It tends to happen.
Yes.
We'll be sitting there holding the 12th pick, and there might be a team that wants to move up for it. And I feel like that's an opportunity. Move down, get more picks. That gives you some additional ammo to come back up later and grab somebody in the late first if it's Trask, or move up high in the second.
And that's what they did last year when they traded down one spot with Kinlaw. They did it a few years ago when they traded down with Solomon Thomas. It's something they've done. Trade down one spot, pick up some picks.
Yep. Yeah, you can slide down a little bit, whether it's New England, whoever it is. But you could probably get a lot for it. People are valuing the quarterback position, obviously, right? So my play, what I hope I see is I hope they draft a tackle. I really do. I really hope they draft a tackle in round one and immediately are on the phone shopping McGlinchey.
That's what I think. That's the move. That is the move. Offensive tackle, shop McGlinchey. It's what they did when they drafted McGlinchey and then shopped Trent Brown.
Right. Yep. And if we're going to run it back with Jimmy, that statue, you better get McGlinchey off the team. He's got to go.
Yes.
Because he's a great run blocker.
Yes.
But he is not there in the pass game.
So he needs to be on a team with a run first team with a mobile quarterback who can protect himself, because he is just oil and water with Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know, I went back and watched game 1 from last season against the Cardinals, and Jimmy was moving, man. He was moving. He was rolling out. He scrambled for 8 yards or something like that. You know, he was running around, and I think it was the Jets game where he kind of got that first hit to the ankle, and then it just really, you know,
he's just not stationary the rest of the year.
Yeah, not durable. So let's get offensive line going, and even further down in the draft, round 3, grab Josh Myers or somebody out of Ohio State, a center to come in after. You know, after
because the point is, if they really are going to win now mode and run it back and stick with Jimmy Garoppolo, then give them a chance. Give them the best offensive line you possibly can, because you see what happens when it's anything less than that at this point. Yep.
They've backed him up. They backed him verbally. They backed him on Twitter. They backed him with money. Now give him the line. Put the line in front of him. And if you can't do it with that,
then you've given him everything: the defense, the run game, the weapons, the line. Yep, I'm with you, man.
No excuses. All right, Grant.
Great call.
See you later.
Thank you. See ya. Renee.
Yo, what's going on, Grant?
How you doing, man?
So, I'm doing all right. I actually got my COVID vaccine yesterday, and I feel a little crappy, but other than that.
Number 1 or number 2?
1.
Number 1. Hey, congrats. Not congrats.
Yeah. So, I think that this draft is probably one of the most fascinating drafts for the Niners in quite some time. Because I think this is going to be pivotal. If they do not knock it out of the park with their draft picks, I think this can be it for Lynch.
They have to retool the entire depth of the team in this draft, don't they?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And yeah, I feel that they definitely do, and also that they cannot miss on their first round pick as well. Because losing Solomon Thomas, 3-4 years after you drafted him, not very good. McGlinchey so far has been kind of a bust.
You should have had an All-Pro on your team in that Solomon Thomas pick. Instead, you got nothing. You should have had another All-Pro with that 9th pick in 2018. Instead, you got a bust. Yeah, you can't keep doing that. And Kinlaw, let's be clear. Kinlaw isn't necessarily a good pick. He has a lot to prove. That dude had 1.5 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. Solomon Thomas never had a season like that. So that's another one. That's another one.
Exactly. So, but I actually kind of like Kinlaw, so I want this.
Fair. I'm not writing him off, but he has something to prove.
Yeah, a big prove year for him.
Yeah.
But once again, like this, they like everybody's been saying, they've kind of plugged up their holes that were really, really necessary in free agency. So they can take the best available player or trade down, as I've always thought. Get more picks, move up later on. But I just really feel like this draft this upcoming year is pivotal for make or break, 100%.
Because again, the Niners didn't really use free agency to get better. They used free agency to like hold serve, bring it back, plug holes with their own guys, and now the draft is their opportunity to actually make improvements now. And the thing is, they only have 2 picks in the top 100, 7 after the top 100, so they need to maneuver.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that I think that if they could trade back in the first round, I actually prefer that, because they don't really need to do anything crazy. They don't need a quarterback in the first round. They don't need to do that. They don't need to trade up and do that either. So if Mac Jones is there, maybe the Patriots want to come up and get him. Trade back with the Patriots, get him a couple extra picks.
That works for me.
And also, whenever this Deshaun Watson thing kind of ends, I still think they're in play for Deshaun.
Well, we'll see, man, because that's getting real murky. I don't know what the hell is going on there, man. Has there been any new information? Because it was like every 6 hours for a while, but it seems like another dozen girls haven't come forward recently. So,
not that I know of, but I was talking with my girlfriend about it, and even she says like that seems kind of like muddy on the lawyer's part. Like, I'm all for like women coming out. You've been abused. Go, get your justice. But it just seems murky. I don't know.
I have no idea what to make of it. I don't even really want to take sides, but it's very interesting.
I get you.
Yeah.
So,
hey, man, thanks for coming on and not cursing.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Have a good one, man. For sure. Okay, we got Mac, and then we got Jeff. Look at Jeff waiting patiently. I see you, Jeff, but hey, Mac, man, what's going on? You're muted, so you got to just press the little microphone button on your screen, and then boom, I hear you. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Grant?
How you doing? What's on your mind?
Love your show, brother.
Thank you, man.
Just want to talk about Kyle Shanahan.
Okay.
And this. Sometimes I was watching the games last year. I know we had our backups there. I mean, he could have helped them backups by calling better run plays.
That's how I always felt.
To me, he's a legit backup. But he just put him in a situation where the line wasn't blocking for him. Okay, go back to the run. The run game was working.
Yeah, I agree. And it was bothered me during the season that it was happening. I didn't understand it. What was your make? Why did Kyle Shanahan call games so aggressively for Mullins and not for Jimmy? What was that?
For Jimmy, you're right. I don't think he believes in Jimmy at all.
Yeah, I don't think he believes in Jimmy. And I do think he believes in Nick Mullins more than Jimmy and wanted to prove it. Like, my backup is better than my starter. And it didn't – he put him in situations that were too ambitious. I don't know how you'd put it. Right.
And I think Mullins actually take the game more serious than Jimmy anyway.
No question.
Because
that's why Kyle likes him.
Who got something to prove?
Yep. I was talking at the beginning of the show about Niners who are hungry, who have something to prove. He was one. He's not on the team anymore.
Exactly.
I don't know. People don't think about Mullins. He got hurt. He's not on the team anymore. He's now rehabbing, probably out of his own pocket. They didn't tender him. It's a tough situation, man.
Exactly. And also, why find Kyle Juszczyk when you need defensive help?
They don't even use Kyle Juszczyk. They don't even use Kyle Juszczyk. It doesn't make sense.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A 5-year, $27 million deal. Yeah, they could have gave that 5-year, $27 million deal to anyone. Yep.
Not Gilmore. Give him that money.
But you know how Kyle is. Kyle knows Kyle Juszczyk. Hey, of course, man. Have a good one. A little bit of a choppy connection. That's all right, though. Jeff, if you're there.
Hey, what's up?
It's time. Good. How you doing? I lost you. Are you there? Call back in, Jeff. No, here you go. There you go.
All right. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Hey,
Hold
what's
on,
up, Grant? How you
Raymond
doing?
has a question. You can help me with it. Appreciate your hustle, Grant. Thank you for the dope content. If they don't draft a quarterback early, it's an indicator that Kyle really likes Rosen. Hey, it's not a question. It was just an exclamation. Hey, I'm with you on that. We'll see.
It's a statement.
It's a statement. All right, Jeff. What's going on, man?
Hey, so let's talk about a couple of things here. First off, I have a little bit of a take on free agency, maybe than some people. Sounds like a lot of guys are down on what we've been doing, some of the moves we've been making. Sure. I'm a little bit more optimistic, actually. I've liked most of what they've done in free agency. Okay. And so let's talk about people brought up Kyle Juszczyk a lot.
Okay.
Well, really, it's about a just over $6 million deal for the first 2 years. So, I mean, you're paying him $2.2 million next year, as far as your cap is concerned, and just under $3 million the next year. Trent Williams. So you're only paying him $8.2 million this year. You're paying him $14 million in 2022. Those are both bargain rates for a left tackle. You got Verrett on a 1-year deal. They spent a little bit of money for I still can't say his name right. Ekbom.
Because there was a guy when we were younger named Ekuban.
Yes.
Like when I was a kid, there was an Ekuban in the league. No. This guy is Ebucom.
Ebucom.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know who Ekuban was, but that guy gets in my head all the time. But it's Ebucom.
Ebucom. Yeah.
Yes.
So they paid him $12 million. So that was like, whoa, that was their big signing of free agency. And I think it's been mentioned by other people, though. It looks like that they're looking to move him over to defensive end, which could be a great position for him. I'm actually really excited. They obviously really like the guy because they see him play. They play him twice a year, every year. So they're really into him. So I'm actually more hopeful with what they've done in free agency. I think that they're actually banking on 2023 with that new TV deal kicking in, the cap going up. Whether or not that's going to work is one thing, but I think
let me just present the other side, because I hear what you're saying. It doesn't hurt their cap. It's managed well for their cap. But by backloading it in the way they did for Juszczyk, for Trent Williams, what they essentially did was guarantee that those two guys are going to be on the team for at least the next 3 years.
Yeah.
They're locked in for 3 years. And it's like, okay, that's cool. But what if they get hurt? They're older. What if their play drops off? What if they pull a D Ford or a Quan Alexander? Well, you're paying these guys for 3 years, one way or another. That's the only way it falls apart. If old guys get hurt.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, no, and it's a valid point. I mean, the injury risk is certainly there once you get people on the wrong side of 30.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah, so it's definitely there. I see the point there.
Yeah, committed for 3 years to 2 guys deep into their 30s, but it's okay. It could work out. That's all. That's the only thing. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
But what's on your mind? What's else?
Yeah, well, but on the to kind of pose the argument to that, though, it would be what are their options otherwise? What are you going to do? I mean, where are you going to find a left tackle that can play at the level of Trent Williams? I mean, where are you going to find that? You only have so many draft picks. You need time to be able to restock the cupboards with your draft, develop guys in-house, and then get cheaper and younger at all your different positions on the team. They need time to be able to do that because for the last several years, they've been trading assets for older players. They need to get away from that and now just concentrate on getting younger. You have the core of your team in place for the next 2 to 3 years. And then now you can concentrate on the draft and then be able to bring fresh talent in the building.
Here's the way I think of it. You know, you ever see those things on those memes on Instagram or Twitter where they're like, okay, you got $15. You got these players in the $5 range. Right. Make your starting 5. And like Trent Williams is definitely in the $5 range for sure. He's the best. But it's like, do you really want to spend $5 on one player who's 33? Or do you want to like get some guys from the $3 or $4 range and spread that money out? That's the counter argument. Like, of course, you can't get a better left tackle than Trent Williams, but can you make a better offensive line with that money by spreading it out to other players?
Right. But could you also get from a value perspective, could you get a better one for $22 million over the next 2 years? Because that's what you are getting in Trent Williams. He's, 8.2 and 14 something for 21 and 22. He gets expensive in 23. Right. So I think that they're trying to play the salary cap. They're anticipating this TV deal like a lot of teams are, and they're backloading contracts. The 49ers are not the only team in the NFL that are backloading contracts. You're seeing it come in heavy this year. One, because of the cap crunch, and then 2, because I think they're seeing big money on the horizon.
No, you're right. And that makes sense. I'm just really cynical. So when I see that the Niners have now put $42 million in Trent Williams' pocket, and he probably doesn't have much that he can earn the rest of this year. He's got his base salary, maybe a couple incentives. My question right away is, okay, so how many games is he going to play this year? How many games? I'm cynical. I'm not saying he's going to sit out, but football's tough. It's a grind, man. How many games is he going to play this year? I'm curious because he just made $40 million. I don't know what that feels like. It must feel amazing, but he has a lot of money.
Yeah, you can just do the old Scrooge McDuck thing, man. Just dump into a pile of gold. It's got to feel great.
It's got to feel wonderful. I don't know.
Bathing money,
Yeah, bathing in money. So I don't want to be too down on Trent Williams. If he plays a full season and does his thing, then it was worth it. So we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, and then these other guys that they're picking up. We talked about Juszczyk. I mean, he's cheap over the next 2 years. This isn't that expensive. Right. I mean, after 3 years, his cap hit goes up to 6.5 million, but at that point you have options. You're gonna have a larger salary cap. You can restructure deals. You can they always find ways to be able to free up cap space, and so it's going to be a situation where they're going to kick the can down the road for a couple of years and then worry about it then, and hopefully they draft well between now and then. I think that's the plan, and that's the play that they're going with, and whether or not we agree with that.
But you're right. They got to draft well to pull this off.
Oh, they
got to draft well to pull this off. Yep.
The only way that you're going to be able to, because you have to get cheaper and younger, and the only way you do that is through the draft. You don't do it through free agency.
And there's now like 4, 5, 6 guys on the team who make good money. That it wasn't like that 2 years ago in the 2019 team. So they need to knock these draft picks out of the park.
They do, and they have a lot of draft picks, so they're going to have to bring some guys and hopefully not trade up too much and do that kind of stuff. If anything, trade back. And because I think that they're really coming up into a crossroads. Another point that I wanted to make with the amount of cap space that they have left, Fred Warner's deal is coming up. So you're going to have to make a decision. And I hate bringing everything back to Jimmy, but you're going to have to make a decision on whether or not you want to keep Fred Warner or whether or not you want to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to be
the quarterback of your defense or the quarterback of your offense.
What do you want to do?
I wrote an article like 2-3 days ago saying, do the Niners want to trade Fred Warner for a first round pick? Only because they did it with Buckner. And it's like, well, they could do it again. Fred Warner's dad responded to it yesterday. and was just like responding to everything, like liking tweets. And it was great, man. He had his son's back. It was they should never do that. He's a great player. I agree with his dad. But if the dad is going on Twitter and doing that, that just makes me feel like the negotiations aren't going so well. Why would he need to do
Probably
that
not.
if it was in the bag? Or maybe
Yeah.
he's just in the dark and doesn't know. I don't know what kind of relationship he has with Fred Warner Jr.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
We'll see,
We'll
man.
see.
I mean, maybe they're just going to try to wait it out one more year with Fred Warner and see what the cap does and go that route. But I don't see them having another option if they're going to continue to pay Jimmy this a large amount of money. There's just I don't really know how they're going to be able to pay him $15 million or north of $15 million a year to a middle linebacker. It's just, you're going to have to make a decision. It's like, how many nice things do you want? And the only way to be able to do that is going to be able to draft a quarterback at this year. Yeah. And I would say most likely at 12, they're going to have to take a guy to be able to free up that cap.
I think they're going to trade Fred Warner. I think they're going to trade Fred Warner.
Oh, sorry, no cursing.
That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. No, I think they're going to trade Fred Warner. I don't know when, but it doesn't seem like they've saved any cap space for him, and he's going to be very expensive.
No, here's my glass half full take for you. If they end up moving Jimmy somewhere, let's say in the draft, they're going to free up a bunch of cap space. They can extend him this summer.
No problem.
It's not even an issue. It's just done.
No problem.
So
but
there's that.
Saving,
so there's hope.
Short of that, okay, here's one more thing. What if they say, we're not going to trade you. We're not going to extend you. We're just going to expect you to come back and play this one out. Sorry, pandemic hit. We just can't give you the George Kittle treatment. Either come back and play or hold out and we'll find you all the way. What do you think they'll do?
Wow. It really depends on the quarterback position. I hate going back to that because we're always just flying right back to that same topic, but that's where all the money is at. So if they decide to throw,
are you saying, like, do you think they would create an acrimonious relationship with Warner, or would they just trade him, assuming they want to keep Jimmy for one more year?
No, they probably just try to let him play it out, knowing
you
Lynch
want to hold out,
like
good
that.
for you, man. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they probably just say, "Oh no, just come on back, and we'll try to extend you at the end of next year."
Because if you remember, a lot of people in the local Bay Area media last year with Kittle were being like, Kittle shouldn't step on that practice field again without an extension. They got to do the right thing by Kittle, yada yada yada. Well, same thing applies to Warner. Same exact
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah,
absolutely. He's due for his extension, and he's earned it. The dude's played lights out, so he's definitely a cornerstone of your defense. So, you definitely want to see him get extended, and my hope is that it happens this summer.
Yeah, Barry Bosses is always the franchise side. They really do have. It seems like they almost did George Kittle a favor, giving him that extension. It's like, look, we don't have to do this, but we really like you, and we don't want to create a bad relationship with you. We want you here long term, so we'll make you happy. Will they do that for Fred Warner too? Because they don't have to do it. They could. You're under contract, and then we can tag you, and then we can tag you again. So what do you want to do?
Right, and so they are in a position of power there. But what we're worried about, and what we're just kind of discussing, is him potentially holding out.
Yep.
If they decided to not give him his extension, and the same thing applies if you give him a franchise tag at the end of next year, he can hold out. So it still puts you in the same position as far as not having the security of knowing that whether or not this guy's going to show up and play. Whether he's going to lace up. So, figuring that out, a situation, how you can re-sign Fred Warner, I think it's a huge priority. I think having a quarterback and a leader of your defense is a big deal. Having an identity as a defense is a big deal. So I think that there's more value that Fred Warner brings to the team than just play at middle linebacker, because you can sit there and moneyball the middle linebacker position and try to, we can get cheaper there and get maybe not an equal level of play, but a similar level of play, maybe a couple.
What they tried to do with Kinlaw and Wagner. Yeah. But
exactly.
You're not going to replace Fred Warner. And if you try, you're going to play yourself. No, you're not.
You're not. And so it'll be really interesting to see where this team goes, though, ultimately now with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, because a lot of people are saying that this was plan A for them, and we're going to find out whether or not it was. And so they might, they didn't go to Trey Lance's pro day, and they have, whether or not you like the guy or not, you probably should have gone and scouted him up. I'm interested to see now if they start showing up to these pro days and start evaluating these quarterbacks a little bit harder, and you start
now that
hearing
Deshaun
some
Watson may be
whispers.
off the table, right? Yeah.
Now crud, we need to get to.
We need a new plan A.
We need a new plan A. We need maybe we should look at Justin Fields. Maybe we should talk to Mac Jones. Maybe we should, entertain some scenarios of how we're going to get a quarterback in this draft versus just crossing our fingers and hoping Deshaun Watson's available. So,
I still think they wait until the end of round 3 and take the CJ Beathard pick right there.
Oh,
right
man.
there. That's the sweet spot for Kyle's where he took Cousins.
Come on down, David Mims, Davis Mims, sorry.
Davis, whatever the hell. Yeah.
Mims or whatever. Davis meme, whatever.
Mill, whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jeff.
It's good times, man.
Good times, man. Have a great one, man. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate when you slide in at the end.
Always,
Good
man.
stuff, man. Of course.
All right, cool.
Well, that's the end of the Cohn phone for today. I'm sorry I couldn't get everyone. It's 11:15. I went 15 minutes over. I'll be back. I'll try to do this every Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. and I sometimes throw them in the middle of the week. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll be back soon.